mean, at some point, JD and Gordon are going to have to make moves to bring in a little more talent here. It's great, the pipeline we have and all the young players, and I'm excited to see them all grow. But yeah, you're probably gonna need some free agents,
Well,
sprinkled in
well,
here or
majority
there.
of these guys are support type players.
Yeah.
So I think everybody, the fans, we have to look at this too. As far as you look at the lineup, I mean, the bulk of the lineup is absolutely young, but a lot of these guys are support type players, and you nailed it. They need to be a little, on the bottom end, not in terms of their talent, and their quality, but as far as where the lines are and the positioning and everything else. And that's something that obviously Coach Quinn and Lindy Ruff are both dealing with here in terms of how they use. I've said this about Quinn too. I mean, any coach in the league, you can only use the assets that the franchise gives you. Whatever the talent pool is, and you can. I'm sure. We can look down at the AHL, and everybody's probably chomping and joking at the bit. Bring Karatsov up. There's still a good chance you might see him before the end of the year. We'll see what happens, but that's the big picture here with this team, and they've done damn well. And I pat everyone on the back on this team, including Capo Caco, because the fan base still likes him, and the coach likes him and stuff. And
He's been playing better lately.
I know. Look, we'll do a little bit on Caco. I'm not going to bury the guy. I joke around, but in general, like I said, this lineup is primarily a lineup of support players, and then we've got the three guys, the top three guys up front, and one of those guys is gone now. So everything in between, the goaltending situation, the forward lines up front, and and you brought up a great point about Shea getting shipped out and the adjustments Smith's got to make and everything else too. So there's been obviously a major change in the cog of this machine here. Since, the trading deadline. They come back, they win a couple of good games there, a lot of fun. But, yeah, I mean, it's been knocked down on reality, and this team has to deal with the adversity in conjunction with a support player team and a young team.
And I'm so depressed by this, by the way. I'm so depressed with, the conversations that we're having today because of how excited we were last week. I wish, we were talking about how pumped we were, and we still should be. I mean, and again, there's still a lot of hockey to go, and there's a good chance that this time next week we're pumped again, and we're just like, yeah, we're going all the way.
I hope so,
blah, blah, blah. But and one thing myself and all fans have to remember is a rebuild isn't just you're always going straight up. It's not always progressions. There's going to be some setbacks along the way, and I think that this week was a little bit of a setback, where we were riding sky high, and sometimes you do need that dose of reality where you look at yourself like, maybe we're not as good as we think we are, and that ultimately makes the team better long term. So hopefully that's what this is, a little bit of a bump in the road. This time next week we're talking parades down the canyon of heroes.
Well, Katie, if anything, there's been a few bumps in the road this season, but each one's been unique. So this is just another different bump in the road, And it starts with the car crash. It starts, then with the signing, and then the injury, and then playing a really, a rival, a team that, if you had won those couple of points, kind of maybe pushed it a little further or whatever, but you didn't. But you get a dose of reality. So they've been different kind of situations. And, maybe we're not as animated and as excited this week as the last, but that's just normal stuff because, you ride high, you ride low. In general, in just keeping things in perspective, and I think that's just the tough part, KD, of being a fan. We're Ranger fans, I mean, me and you aren't, we're not NHL personalities, work on the NHL network here. We're fans, and that's what's fun about doing this and talking about it, and obviously the rapport with the fans and who tune into us and listen to us. I think we're all in the same boat together. We can't do anything about this. We can't make the decisions. We can only sit back and watch, and it's tough being a passionate Ranger fan. We haven't won, in a long time. We got close, and now it's just starting everything from scratch again, and it's an advanced progress. There's no doubt about it. And whether it's because other teams in the Metro and in the Atlantic Division have played well and the parity, and a lot of teams are struggling with their own situation, that we just happen to be close, and we rode a good wave, and we faced different adversity. And when I say we, the team has us here at this point. So it's okay to still be grounded and look at the long term, and shit, yeah, when they start winning and everything's going good, absolutely. Release the flags. Let's have a blast, But I think, just looking at these last couple of games and looking at the team as a whole, they've overachieved, KD, right? I mean, this is basically where it's been, and you brought up some great points about those three top guys up front. Mixed in with, like I said, the younger guys, especially on the defensive end, and Trouba coming in, and all the hard work and everything in between. And, hey, anybody who's successful, any team that gets all the way through the thousands and thousands of miles that you have to skate and the bodies that you have to go through just to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, so much has to line up. And, it's even tough in the league today to make sense of Vegas's run there, 2 seasons ago, and St. Louis last year when they were done, before the end of last year. No, there's nobody gave them a chance. They had to fire their coach. Berube comes in. It's crazy stuff, but that's the game. And at least our team is keeping us interested. They're competitive. The Garden's full every week, and we're excited, and we just got to all hang in there together here and just enjoy the ride a little bit. And, yeah, all we can do, KD, is this is the challenge for management. This is the challenge for Coach Quinn as a second-year coach. This is a challenge for a guy like Lindy Ruff. I mean, who knows, how long is Lindy Ruff? What kind of investment does he have in this franchise? He's probably going to be looking for a job next year, a head coaching job. So who knows, man? There's so many different variables going on. But, as far as our attitude, being down, being up, it's all good, man.
All right. I'm back. I'm back in. No, look, I just think, like you said, as a fan, I think that the nice little run of the last, month or so got me locked in a little bit, and all year I've been like, we got to be patient, and it's not about wins and losses. And then last week, we play back the tapes. I was like, let's go. We're winning. And which is good. Like you said, we're fans here. I mean, we're not here to analyze things. We're here because, we love the team, and we enjoy talking about it. And I enjoy getting caught up in the moment. That's what this is all about, and why I think, our podcast is so great. But, I still feel great about this team. I still feel positive about the direction that they're going. Youngest team in the league. We have, a superstar, forward in Panarin, and actually Zibanejad too, because I think we really need to start talking about him as a guy who's going to be, a superstar in this league, if he's not already. You have a generational goalie now. So not Georgiev. Shashorkin.
I'm going to get you.
So you have a generational goalie, in my opinion, replacing another generational goalie. You have all these, defensive prospects and stockpile of draft picks over the next couple of years. So, things are still just great. There's, I'd say like 95% of probably the fan bases, in the NHL would love to be, Ranger fans right now, as far as the position our team is in with the future. So, it was a real disappointing week, but, the future is real bright. I mean,
so KD,
definitely a little – go ahead.
Let me ask you, as far as the discussion we're just having with the future, with this lineup and the announcement from the GM meetings that the cap is going up to 84, 88 mil, what's your take on that? And how do you think – that's going to either work to the Rangers' advantage or, just real quick in terms of, I mean, there's so many things going on with the Rangers, different contracts and everything else, but what's your take on that as far as the bump up and how the Rangers can maybe benefit from that?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're looking at some difficult decisions that may not be as difficult anymore, whether it's, D'Angelo or Strome, Georgiev. What are they gonna do with them? Because it's gonna be hard to bring those guys back at a higher salary because the Rangers are in a bit of a cap jam this coming season. After next year, I mean, you lose Stahl and you lose Lundqvist, so maybe they don't end up. I don't know. The goalie situation is going to play a big part of it because do they buy out Lundqvist to open up even more space? Maybe then they think, well, maybe we don't have to buy him out, and do they go into the season with 3 goalies again next year, which would be insane. But yeah, I mean, I think it opens up more possibilities for this team. And now, having said that, it may open up more possibilities of them making mistakes because as much as I love a guy like Strome, I do think he's ultimately on a contending team, a third line center. So now you're opening up more cap space. So the Rangers going to make the mistake of paying him like a top 6 center when he's really more of a top 9, a third line guy. So that's a concern. I have with maybe, having more cap space for the team. It may be more of a problem. We all know what things used to be like around here when there was no cap. And we used to just spend crazily and give out
good
all
old days.
That's right. So, you wonder if maybe opening up some cap space is a detriment to this team. But, we do have a lot of guys we need to bring back in the fold. You'd like to see a D'Angelo come back. Do they need to now with Shea being traded away? Are you confident next year in these young guys? Condre Miller and Lundqvist, or do you need to now go out and bring in a left-handed defenseman or left side defenseman to play with Trouba? Because now we're down with Shea. I mean, is Brendan Smith your long-term plan? I mean, is he your guy next year again? Is Mark Stahl? Are you counting on him again? What is the plan? So maybe you need some of that money to bring in another defenseman if you're concerned that these young guys, maybe they need a year of seasoning in the AHL. And not everybody is, Adam Fox, they're not all, or Lindgren, they're not all going to come in here and succeed their rookie years on defense. So, that's a pretty unique thing to see what Fox is able to do in his rookie year, where he's not only one of the better rookie defensemen in the league, he's one of the better defensemen, period, in the league this year. So, can the Rangers sort of strike gold again with Lundqvist and Miller next year? So that may be another thing that they would need this additional money for. Are you bringing in a left-handed defenseman to play with Trouba? So, good and bad there. Again, you open up the possibility of maybe overpaying somebody or bringing somebody back. Maybe you shouldn't. But at the same time, it does open up more cap space to bring, a free agent in to help on defense, which has, been the weak spot on this team all year.
Well, it will be interesting to see. And who knows where the CBA is going to be. See even if we have hockey in a couple of years, with the money they're all making and a new expansion team coming in. It's good stuff. But, one way or the others, with the guys we got, running the front office here, I think the Rangers are going to be okay. And I ultimately think that's eventually what's going to happen. I think, you gotta believe we're going to be getting some good free agents coming in here, too, down the road, too, to play up on those top lines to complement some of the other the 3 big stars we have here, too. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But
yeah, that'll have a lot to do with your guy Kakko, because if he isn't able to turn into the guy that we're all hoping for, they're going to have to bring somebody in because you're counting on him to ultimately develop into a top 6 guy. And right now,
that kid he's protected by the Finnish mob as far as I'm concerned. All right, because it's funny because I didn't get to read any of the recent columns. I think Carp had some take on Kakko, but even Quinn last night he gets a question and he just keeps saying, the kid just keeps learning. He keeps learning. It's like that's a lot of learning. It'll be interesting to see more than anything. He's still got time here if he can maybe grab a couple big. I just don't see it happening because to me, after 62 games here, if it hasn't happened yet, I mean, he hasn't had a point in 40 some odd games. It's not going to happen. But I'm telling you, Kevin, next season training camp. I mean, there's there's merits, but I'm gonna say this, and then we just went through the fact that we have a